Hi, my name is Sunil and I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about Reiki. Now the first question we usually get is, what is Reiki? Reiki is a Japanese word which stands for Universal Life Force Energy. Now that breaks down further into two words, Rei meaning universal and Ki meaning life force energy. Now Ki is the term that the Japanese use for energy. It is known as Chi to the Chinese and Prana to the Indians. Now, this universal life force energy flows through all beings, plants, and animals. It also flows through inanimate objects, but we'll leave that for another day. Basically, Reiki never works for any negative intentions. Now, what it does is it takes on the shape and form of your positive intentions for the healing. I'll get into that a little bit more later. Now, the other thing that's very important, I need to point this out, Reiki has nothing to do with the occult. It has nothing to do with ghosts or calling in demons or even a certain faith. You can have your religious values and you can also practice Reiki. Now, what Reiki actually is one of the most simplest methods of healing that is available to us. It doesn't require any medicines, instruments, or manual pressure. Reiki does work on all areas of life. It's the physical level, the mental level, spiritual, and emotional. Now, the one thing that Reiki cannot do, it can never ever bring any harm or cause any damage to the client that you're working on. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the origins and where Reiki came from. Originally, Reiki was an ancient knowledge from India, and basically when it was in India, it was guarded and preserved by the spiritual leaders at the time, and it was only available to a select few, usually priests and other spiritual leaders that had disciples so that they could filter it down through word of mouth. And basically, the man who rediscovered Reiki was Dr., and I hope I'm saying this right, is Mikao Usui. He rediscovered it, and because of him it is now available to the common person and to everybody so that they could take advantage and learn this very simple healing modality. Now, I could really go on and explain Reiki a lot further, but I'm going to stop there for now. Reiki is basically more to be experienced than understood. It affects each individual in a very personal way, the result being determined by the needs of the person being treated. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into a bit of a demo, so just bear with me here as I set up. Alright, so now I'm about to start the demo, and I just wanted to go into Reiki a little bit further in terms of treatment. Now, when we do Reiki, you can either put your hands directly on the person's body, or you can hold them slightly above. Now, all I'm going to do is kind of allow my mind to go quiet, and this universal energy will flow through me into my client. Now, I'm not doing any of it. This is just being directed through me. You could think of me as like a channel, or if you want to think of a hose and water passing through the hose, and that's what's actually coming through me. And in that analogy, it would be the water flowing out of my hands into the person. Now, that's not actually going to happen. There's going to be no water flowing out of my hands, but there will be some energy. So right now my friend Karen's going to come over, and she's going to be my client that I'm going to demo on. Thank you, Karen. You can have a seat on the table. I can actually get you to go to the other way. Thank you very much. Alright, Karen, so I just need you to relax and just feel comfortable. I'm just going to, so you're aware that I'm here, I'm just going to rest my arm on your shoulder. Now what I'm going to do is just center and ground myself. brings us to the end of our demo. There are a couple things I want to talk about before the end of the video. Number one, there's usually a client check-in before the session begins. Now this gives me, the practitioner, a chance to check in with my client to see how they're doing mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Now, the other thing I wanted to discuss also was the length of the treatment. What you saw in the demo was a very short demonstration, obviously, for the purpose of this video. Now, the sessions can range from 45 minutes to an hour and a half, all depending on the Reiki practitioner and how much they feel the client needs. The last thing I'd like to talk about is the difference between Reiki and therapeutic touch. Now, number one, in terms of teaching, Reiki is passed down through attunements. With healing touch, the teaching comes from learning the specific techniques. Now, in terms of mentoring, Reiki comes passed down through a Reiki master lineage, whereas therapeutic touch comes from an experienced practitioner. Now, the last thing, which is the biggest difference, has to do with intention. Now, with Reiki, as you saw from the demo, Reiki allows the flow of energy. So as you saw, I had my hands in various positions over the body, and I was allowing the energy to flow through me. With therapeutic touch, the energy and the flow is directed through various breathing methods and setting of intentions. Now, with that being said, that is the end of the video. I hope you found it informative, and thank you very much for watching. Have a good night. Namaste.